Several loops of rope were tightly wrapped around the sea turtle's neck. In pain, it pulled its head back into its shell, making it impossible for the rescuers to pry it out, no matter how hard they tried. The lucky sea turtle was carefully lifted onto a small rescue boat. Its left front flipper was entangled in a massive bundle of abandoned fishing nets, a life-threatening situation. But compared to the net wrapped around its flipper, the nylon rope tightly cutting into its neck was the real killer. The tangled fishing lines were wrapped together so tightly that the more the turtle struggled, the tighter they became. The rescuers had no choice but to use a sharp knife to carefully cut through the rope. Today, marine debris has become one of the greatest threats to wildlife in our oceans. This was already the third sea turtle this month found on the brink of death because of discarded trash. A closer inspection revealed that the turtle had been trapped for a very long time. Deep grooves had formed around its neck, and prolonged restriction and lack of oxygen had left it extremely weak. It showed little interest in interacting with the rescuers, and only reacted quickly when the pain became unbearable. To make the rescue easier, the team gently turned the turtle onto its back. This position is very uncomfortable for sea turtles, and remaining upside down for too long can worsen oxygen deprivation. The rescuers had to remove the rope as quickly as possible. At last, the nylon rope that had tormented the turtle for years was no longer tightening around its neck. However, it was impossible to avoid touching the wounds during the process. The turtle suddenly struggled, producing deep, labored breaths. Its throat rose and fell dramatically as it greedily inhaled fresh air, perhaps experiencing such unrestricted breathing for the first time in years. The next step was to disinfect the infected muscles around its neck. Sensing the kindness of the people surrounding it, the turtle slowly began to relax. Despite the pain, it stopped resisting and calmly cooperated with the rescue team. The injuries beneath its neck were relatively minor, but the back of its neck was in much worse condition. The skin had already begun to ulcerate. Even though the rescuers handled the wounds as gently as possible, it was easy to imagine the excruciating pain the turtle endured each time the gauze touched the damaged tissue. Yet it never pulled its head back into its shell again. Instead, it stretched its neck forward, fighting the trembling in its body, and remaining perfectly still so the rescuers could continue treating it. To eliminate the risk of infection, the team thoroughly cleaned the wounds. Throughout the entire procedure, the turtle showed not the slightest sign of resistance. Although the treatment lasted only a few minutes, to the suffering turtle, it must have felt like years. Finally, the rescue was complete. Having survived a near-fatal ordeal, the sea turtle joyfully swam back into the open ocean, once again experiencing the precious freedom it had been deprived of for so long. Nearly 90% of marine litter consists of plastic products. In the ocean, many of these materials take decades or even centuries to decompose naturally. Today, even the most remote islands are littered with industrial waste, leaving irreversible damage to marine ecosystems and upsetting the delicate balance of nature.